So I'm kind of in a bit of a sassy mode. Because a lot of shenanigans happened. I kind of want to just table flip. Table flipping kind of a mode. That does not sound nice. No, I just heard something go bang bang. Just gonna move this to over here. Oh, that did absolutely nothing. Yeah, man. There we go. Yep, I'm back now. Let's just say that you have quite a bit of a headache when you have someone that you love and care about kind of being like a child. Anyway, so since I'm in a bit of a sass mode and I kind of want to just table flip, just to, not just the table flip just cause, but you know, sometimes you just want to some people. One of them being there's, and I know I've talked about this before on other live streams, but the whole thing is you don't be using Ophiuchus or Phoenix or whatever the heck that thing is when you're doing astrology. Don't. It's not a real sign. It doesn't mean anything. If we don't know who rules it, we don't know who controls it, we don't know what kind of sign it is, we don't know what element it is, we don't know, let's see here, we don't know, I mean, there's just so many questions to ask. What house number is it going to be in? Because to have a 13th sign, you need to have a 13th house. Because all signs also have a natural house attached to it. Like Aries has the ascendant, Taurus has second house, Gemini has third, Cancer has fourth, Leo has fifth, Virgo has sixth, Libra has seventh, Scorpio has eighth, Sagittarius has ninth, Capricorn has 10th, Aquarius has 11th, and Pisces has 12th. So 13, where are we going to do that besides? There's... exactly. And here's another thing too. If I remember correctly, but this is just my opinion, don't take it as literal. 12 signs times 30 equals 360. And if I'm correct, to make a full circle, you need 360 degrees. Okay. You add another 30 degrees with another zodiac sign. You add another house. 13 signs, 13 houses. So now you have 360, a full circle, but now you have 390. That's 1 1/12 of a circle. That doesn't work. That rounds up to too much. That's not a full circle anymore. 12 times 30 is 360. When you use a compass to draw a circle, you have to go 360 degrees. If you throw Ophiuchus in there, and that's what I'm going to call him, you're going to mess it up. And even then, too, if you're wanting to actually say that, well, it's kind of like prana and all that, and it has like the life essence, well, that's Scorpio. Because, I mean, Scorpio is the sign about, doing this. Sticking it. Don't look at me. That's what it is. And, I didn't even like saying it. It's not useful. It doesn't really do anything besides. If you're going to call Ophiuchus a constellation, that's the same thing as a nakshatra. And a nakshatra cannot exist without a zodiac sign. Because nakshatra is actually a constellation within a zodiac sign. And within the zodiac sign are patas, or little parts of the constellation in the zodiac sign. So it goes like this. Zodiac sign, nakshatra or constellation, and then the patas. Then there's 4. Complicated. And this is where it gets even more. Zodiac sign, ruled by a planet. Nakshatra, ruled by a planet. Pada, ruled by a planet. I am dead serious. Here's a good example. We'll go with Capricorn. Capricorn. Okay. We have Saturn ruling it. Okay. Now we go to this. Solavan, which is a constellation in Capricorn, or Nakshatra. Solavan, ruled by the moon. Okay. Saturn, moon. Now let's make it even more crazy. Pada 2, which is Capricorn, moon, and now the Pada. Now with the Padas, they all go like this. First one's fire, second one's earth, third one's air, fourth is water. For Capricorn, for the second Pada, it goes like this. Saturn, moon, Venus. Why Venus? Cardinal signs first. But brought all this on, just me just wanting to be sassy, feisty. Because, I just gotta let off some steam. Because it just makes me just agitated. But anyway, let's see, get it out of my life. Because when NASA decides to come in all, well, we think we found the 13th sign. You said astrology is bullshit. Get out of here. Don't be trying to come in here thinking you're slick. But scientifically we found BS. Get out of here. But as I was saying, with the Padas, how the cardinal signs, well, let's just say some people sometimes are like this. Why are you poking my face, dude? Why are you trying to make me mad? If you keep this up, you're going to be without a finger. You'll have 9 instead of 10. But the way I go about it's funny anyway. So, as I was saying, with Capricorn, you first have Saturn being the ruler. Now you go down to Sravan, which is ruled by the moon. And now you have your Padas. Cardinal signs always have the first 4 set up. For an example, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, their Padas always go the same way. First one's fire, that one's Aries. The second one's Taurus. Okay. The second one will be Earth, Taurus. Third would be Gemini, for air. And then the fourth one will be water for Cancer. So Capricorn, okay, so we have the first 4 signs, so it's going to go like this. Saturn, Moon, Venus. And that's how the Padas are calculated and figured out. But now when you have Ophiuchus, what kind of sign is this? Is it cardinal, fixed, mutable? I don't know what kind of sign it is, so we can't really put it in a nakshatra. 1. What element is it? Is it fire, water, air, or earth? Don't know. 2. Let's see here. Like what I said earlier in the beginning, what house does this thing belong to? Because all zodiac signs are already assigned to a house. Like Aries has the first, for an example. Taurus has second. Third has Gemini. Fourth, Cancer. Fifth, Leo. Sixth, Virgo. Seventh, Libra. Eighth, Scorpio. Ninth, Sagittarius. 10th, Capricorn. 11th, Aquarius. And 12th, Pisces. Where does this thing go? It doesn't have a house. So, a sign without a house? Nope. Yeah. These are the kind of questions you have to ask about stuff like this. Oh no, which planet owns this thing? Because every single sign has a ruling planet attached to it. We got nothing? So I'm kind of not really having hope for this thing. Now there are some people that believe, let's just put it right here where Scorpio and Sagittarius are. and we'll just cut off 20 degrees of Scorpio. And just to make sure that people can kind of see it, that I kind of have credentials for this. There we go. Whoop. Whoops. Just in case if, I have somebody come in and think, well, I don't think you know what you're talking about. Well, I think you can go stick it after seeing these things. Well, the thing is, Pisces and the 12th house are actually very similar. Pisces is a sign of escapism, and the 12th house is actually spirituality and the other worlds. And also Pisces represents the feet, and the 12th house is the feet in medical astrology. But for those, just in case they're wanting to be like, well, I don't think you know what you're talking about. There's one for you. Certificate of Merit. There's another one. There's two of them. And then here's another Certificate of Excellence for Vedic astrology. So yes, I'm not new here. Just in case, because you know how sometimes trolls are like, saying, you're probably not a scientist or anything like that. Or better yet, there's this one twat on YouTube that tried to explain the zodiac signs by like color spectrum, like Honey Bear. No. Cute and all, but no. Don't be thinking you're hot Snapple when you're trying to explain the zodiac signs and the zodiac placements like the 12 Power Ranger colors. Please no. Don't know. There's no such thing as a zodiac color wheel. Because it gets pretty agitating when people just spread BS, but now here's another issue. If you're going to be adding Ophiuchus like how it's theorized to be, you would only have Ophiuchus be 20 degrees long, and Scorpio would only be 10 degrees long. That's a problem. You know why? Remember what I said in the beginning about the nakshatras and the constellations in the zodiac sign? They're all messed up. You're completely throwing... you're throwing out Anuradha. You're throwing out Jyeshta, which is a big no-no. Don't throw out Jyeshta. Because just like what happened the last time she was mistreated, she got the moon cursed. That's why it's never been full. Don't make her mad. Besides, Jyeshta is also the nakshatra where somebody can actually gain the most wealth. And also full understanding of the occult. And even then too, when you're cutting off about 20 degrees of a zodiac sign, and if all the signs of Scorpio, I think whoever came up with the whole thing altogether about this manhandling snake, I think they probably got a little bit too tushy hurt, all because of a Scorpio just over-penetrating them. Oh, God forbid you couldn't take it. You just don't understand how Scorpio is. Well, they were just so mean. Well, you probably did something to, tempt them to pierce you so hard that, you probably were leaking blood. It's none of my business, but still. And funny enough, Scorpio actually has the most planets ruling it, funny enough. Scorpio has Mars, Pluto, Ketu, the southern of the moon, and the black moon Lilith as ruling planets for it. Ophiuchus has none. Don't mean to be point blank, but yep, that's it. And if NASA said, well, NASA said is right, well, they kind of gracefully were like, we made a mistake. Oh, really? That's why it was just... If you're wanting to actually... If you're really actually wanting to be trying to figure out to find something new in astrology and teach people about it, well, why don't you try taking something like a planet and giving a new perspective on it? That'll help you and get you much more farther. In fact, why don't I kind of like throw a curveball, and then we can try and even figure out, what would each planet even do in Ophiuchus? There's quite a lot of them. So let's just try and figure that out. Okay, the sun. Okay. Supposedly, I don't even know what the heck this sign is supposed to even be about, so I'm gonna have to just take a look and theorize it, and to see how much of a hot mess this thing becomes. Alright, Google, give me the Abomination sign, would you? And so that we can kind of get an understanding what it's supposed to be, but never gonna be. Let's do this. Kill me, please. The 13th sign was discovered by, okay, the November 29th and December 17th. That's Scorpio. Idiot. Okay, let's see here. Supposedly, it's supposed to mean it's been used in sidereal, Vedic. No, it's never been used in Vedic. Because if it was used in Vedic, the rishis, the sages, the wise men, and the wise women would have used it. Nope. And it was discovered in 1930. 1930. Before then, the Vedas and all that, it would have mentioned it. Actually, the idea, never mind, I was actually incorrect, because that's just the constellation. The idea was actually 1970. And the suggestion of the 14th, God, please don't know. This is exactly why when people hear the saying, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Astrology is fine with the 12. Don't be thinking that you're slick by adding something in here, because you're going to be messing up the whole calculations. For example, Ophiuchus, you have 13 signs now. Okay? Each zodiac sign and house is 30 degrees long. That makes 360. 12 times 30 is 360. You add another 30, you're at 390. You're at a full circle and 1/12. Now you're at another one. 390. Now you're at 420. Blaze it. No. You don't add another one. 14 signs, that's 420 degrees. So you're going... Now you're at 1/6. No. Supposedly supposed to be saying that is described as... If it's saying about the 13th sign, I don't even know what qualities it's supposed to have. So I really got nothing. Supposedly it's supposed to be... But bending its supple neck, the serpent looks back and returns, and the other hands slide over loosened coils. Okay. Struggle lasts forever, since they wage on level terms with powers. Describe it as an influence of Ophiuchus when the constellation is in its rising phase, as one which offers affinity with snakes and protection from poison. That's Saturnian. Saturnian. If you're being protected by, it throws it all off. And if you're going to be having resistance to poisons and toxins, that would actually be Saturn influencing your ascendant somehow, and he's in good dignity. Because Saturn in the ascendant, or ruling the ascendant, or him as the ruling planet in your ascendant, and if he's sitting in your ascendant, he's going to make you resistant to disease, pain, cold, harshness, something that the normal human being would not be able to survive. Oh, no, I also have Saturn in the ascendant, by the way. So, yeah. renders the forms of snakes Ophiuchus to those born unto him. They will receive snakes into their folds of their flowing robes and will exchange kisses with these poisonous monsters and suffer no harm. That doesn't sound like a later 4th century astrologer as anonymous. That doesn't sound right. Associated the star of Ophiuchus with doctors, healers, physicians, which may have been the association between poisons and medicines. Well, the thing is, when you're doing with Scorpio, poisons, assassinations, that's Scorpio. Something that's kept underground in secrecy. When you assassinate someone, it's quick and sudden, just like Scorpio. Scorpio is also the sign of doing surgeries. Like emergency surgeries, cutting someone open to heal them, that's Mars. It's Scorpio. Dealing with healers and physicians, well, some of them go by means to actually cutting and doing surgery. You had Saturn in Scorpio, right? If I'm remembering correctly. Saturn in Scorpio in the 8th house? If I'm right. So that would make him be looking 8th house, so that would be in 9th, 10th. Okay. That means your Saturn would be looking at the 10th, and then it would be looking at the 2nd, and then it would go 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. So, essentially, again, Saturn in the 8th house, especially in Scorpio, kind of makes you cheat death a lot. And something that should have killed you doesn't. Somehow, for some way, your life gets just tells death. Because Saturn slows it down, restricts it. But since he's also the planet that's also related to occult sciences and the dark and the stuff that is hidden underground, Saturn in Scorpio can also make somebody able to be really... Let's just say they can easily mitigate any kind of malefic workings in their magical pursuit if they do it. They're also really, 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 really good at return to sender work. Because Saturn is a planet that rebels against everything. You try and throw something at him, he doesn't want it. Because his ring system reflects 33% of the light casted to him. So he just, get it away! Get that crap away from me. Nope. And that's why the best places to have Saturn are in either the 6th, 8th, or 12th, but also the 7th. You're probably thinking, why would I want Saturn in the 7th house? In astrology, Saturn gets Digbala, or directional strength, in the 7th house. Digbala is essentially where the planet has full clarity on which way to go and how to exert itself. The 7th house is actually the house about duties, commitments, responsibilities, obligations, contracts, and pretty much business agreements, marriage. Now you're putting a planet that's all about pretty much having self-control, being organized, structured, disciplined, focused, and also tradition. And also Saturn, funny enough, represents your servant. The people below you, the working class, the masses. Put it this way. The ascendant and Lagna is you. Okay? You're putting Saturn, the servant, in the 7th house of other person. Put it this way. Your servant is standing in front of you, opposing you. Now here's the thing. What does a servant do? The servant pretty much does everything possible for their master's gain. When Saturn is in the 7th house, he's standing before you, waiting for orders to be given. He's not standing against you and opposing you and defying you. He's standing at the ready and just waiting your command. And whatever you tell him to do, he'll do it. When you have a servant looking at the king, the servant knows, what do I have to do? Tell me, you bloody flamer. And whatever the king says, he'll just go ahead and do it. But then again, that's the idea too. When you are having a Saturn in the 7th house, yeah, and I mean, the thing is, one of the best things regarding your karmic service and your karmic duty to do your life, there's a concept called Pavat Pavam, is where you take you just choose a house, and then you add that many places from it, and then that's the higher point of that house. So we'll go with the 10th house. The house of your daily service, your karmic expectations. So now you go 10th from the 10th, starting at 10. 10th, 11th is 2, 12th is 3, 4th is the ascendant, across the way is 5, and then when you go down, I almost sneezed there. Okay, so count 10th for the 10th. 10th, 11th, 12th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. 1, 2, 3, no, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4th, 5th, 6th. Why is that not coming out right? Okay. Oh, 10th, 11th, 12th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 10 places. So pretty much the higher house of the 10th house is the 7th house, which is other person and spouse figure, marriage and commitments, duties, and partnership. So partnership becomes the biggest act of service you can do in your life, and I can definitely agree with that. Because for me, it's been quite the lately. But I said I'd stick, so I'm sticking. It's just a lovely hot mess. Now, when it comes to I'm also just wanting to just nip this in the tush while I'm thinking about it. So we have a thing about medicine and medical profession and doctor work, okay? Healers and dealing with poisons. Again, that's Scorpio, but fine, we'll try and guess what happens when we put a planet in there. Sun in that sign kind of shows that one gets a sense of fulfillment by medicine, doing medical acts. Now that's Virgo. It can also be Scorpio too, because Scorpio is also a medical sign, dealing with life and death, and also using sometimes occult means to heal somebody. That does count. But again, that's Scorpio, technically. You put Moon in there, that's the one gets their sense of stability and feels full by poisoning people. And no, I don't know. Dealing with people that are very sly and very swift. And gotta keep in mind, Moon's very sensitive. Dealing with poison, that's not good. Moon can get very... In fact, Moon is considered upset in the sign of Scorpio because you're throwing... Oh, there's Rick. There's Ricky. There he is. Nice to have you in here, and while we, try and figure out why the heck is this penis thing still existing. Because right now I'm trying to figure out, okay, what happens when we put each planet in there? So now we're going to throw Mercury in there. Moon probably would not be the best. Even if it's waxing or waning, no, Moon would not do well in there. Let's see here. Mercury in Ophiuchus. Well, that's like putting Mercury in Virgo, which kind of is the same thing. Because Mercury also in Virgo can also be one who makes poison to the impurity. That's kind of like the same thing. Let's see. Venus in there, one finds their sense of creativity and creative expression, as well as they like to indulge in poison. Yeah, you can kind of see how it's not really connecting that well. Let's see, Mars, kind of the same thing as Scorpio, which is makes somebody like a surgeon. Jupiter, false prophet. Yeah, I'm sorry, that has to be like a false prophet position there. Saturn would not enjoy it. Uranus would probably go with it because it's outcasted. Neptune probably would be lost. Pluto would just end up destroying the sign. Black Moon Lilith would not appreciate it. Oh man. Rahu would not like it. K2 would be meh with it because he's meh with everything. And I don't even know what house and where to even put it because 13th house, even like with medical astrology too, when you're doing anatomy, like how the head is Aries, the face is Taurus, and the throat. Gemini is the arms, fingers, hands, upper lungs. Cancer is the chest. Leo is the stomach. Virgo is the intestinal tract. Libra is the hips, and then like right where the groin starts, Scorpio is the groin and the yep part. Sagittarius is the thighs. Capricorn is the knees. Aquarius is the shin down to the ankle, and then the Pisces is the feet. Oh, I don't know where else you can go with that. There's a reason why it's set up the way it is. There's none of my business. I mean, it's not that I don't have the credentials for this or the whatnot. So let's see, what else can I also use to debunk this thing? We don't know. Again, we don't know what kind of sign it is. Because if we don't know what kind of sign it is, we can't make nakshatras out of it. We can't make constellations out of it. We can't make padas out of it. We don't know if it's cardinal, fixed, or mutable. Hello again, I'm back to, now this time take a swing at the he who handles fake snakes. Because in the whole system, the cardinal signs, their padas go with the cardinals only. The fixed only stick with the fixed padas, and then the mutable the mutable only stick with the mutable padas. So he's that same example that I said earlier. Capricorn, Sodavin, and then the pada number 2, which is mine. You have Saturn, Moon, Venus, because it's Earth, Saturn, Moon, Sodavin, which is ruled by the moon. Second pada turns into Taurus, and that's Venus. Because it goes fire, earth, water, fire, air, fire, earth, air, water. And it stays like that throughout the whole pada system. And if you're going into, like, say, a fixed sign, like next door, we'll go over to Aquarius. So that would make it turn into, well, technically we might be starting off with Daneshta, but then that's still in, that one kind of goes and spills over into Aquarius, so that would make it, I'm trying to calculate it all in my head. So then you would go, the third would be pretty much Gemini, and then the fourth pada of the Daneshta Aquarius would become Cancer. Then after that, it goes into Satvashaka. Took me a moment. But Satvashaka is one of them oddball ones. Because Satvashaka goes like this. Saturn, Aquarius, Rahu, ruling the nakshatra of Satvashaka, and then the first fire one is Leo, which is Sun. You can kind of see how complicated this can be. But really, this is like how really complicated it can become. If you're learning Vedic, which I have learned Vedic, and everybody's still going to be learning astrology, it's never going to end. But primarily Vedic, the nakshatras and all these things that I'm speaking about They play a huge, important role, and they're there for a reason. While Western, yes, they aren't as in-depth, but I mean, they do incorporate more of the modern planets into it. But I just smack them both together to see what hot mess I can come up with. And I don't really read the asteroids as of yet, except Black Moon Love's not really considered an asteroid. She's shadow planet like Rahu and Ketu, which are like nodes of the moon, like the nodes of the moon, but Lilith is actually a mathematical point calculated from Earth's, no, it's calculated of Moon's orbit, and the farthest point of Moon's orbit from Earth's position. Essentially, the part where essentially wherever Moon's at, the farthest point of that orbit, that's where Lilith's at. And I'm kind of surprised that people have not really dug into Lilith how they should be. Lilith and Capricorn? Which house? Oh wait, you have an Aries ascendant, right? You have to have an Aries ascendant then if you have a Scorpio 8th house. I would assume. So that means Lilith being your 10th. If I'm right. Yeah, Lilith being Capricorn in the 10th house. You should have Capricorn being your 10th sign. If you're an Aries ascendant. And you have Scorpio in your 8th house. That's how it should be. If you have Platypus, well, screw Platypus. We're doing whole signs. Because that way it's all balanced perfectly. And we don't have things being off kilter in a house only being this big. And a house being this big. No. No. That's going to give you so much headache and you're going to want to jump off a cliff. We don't want that. Yeah. So, if you have Lilith in the 10th house, that's one of the indications that Lilith has kind of, that can be an indication that Lilith is like, okay, you're significant. Because the 10th house is the highest point in the sky where everybody can just look up and see that planet. You're putting Lilith, your sense of empowerment, your sense of, like, what brings you the most sense of self-assurance. It's how you seduce others. It's how you get acts of vengeance. It's also how you seduce others to do your bidding. It's also a way that you can also tantalize somebody, tease someone. It also shows how you get acts of vengeance. And also, if Lilith is more willing to work alongside you or be more favorable in doing so. And also, this indication of where a traumatic event or something has traumatized you somewhere relating to replacement. So, 10th house in Capricorn. Taking a shot in the dark here because it has to be that if you're an Aries ascendant. Well, for one thing, the way you seduce others is by showing you're really put together. You seduce others and you tantalize others by showing that you have a professional side. You use your professional side in your title to make people become more captivated by you. You like to have authoritative standing to make people be like, whoa. Kind of use it as like a means of like kind of winning over people, if that makes sense. Your sense of empowerment comes from having the statuses and the gains and the respect from those you oversee, which is not a bad thing. And the way that you get your revenge, talk about being the very, very strict disciplinarian. The way that you get your revenge is that, okay, could be potentially quite the scolder, and you like to show the world, you see how this guy's being disciplined by me? Don't do it. Nothing wrong with it. It is what it is. But also at the same time, too, it can also show that possibly there may have been a traumatic event of you being put in front of everybody and then probably shamed or disciplined in front of everybody and embarrassed you. That could be a potential. And since Lilith is in the 10th house of your everyday service to society, your reputation, Lilith is going to be playing a part in your standing, in society, and also your service to society, some way, shape, or form. And 10th house is actually a place where Lilith likes being in because everybody's looking up at her and being like, Lilith. Because Lilith likes being acknowledged. She likes being clapped, like Fanda. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I mean, it's just what it is. But at the same time, too, where she's sitting at, that's where your power lies in. So gaining status, gaining authority, gaining the titles and the recognition of your work. But even then, nowadays, that's not, I don't like that. Because there's always a better way of like going to a child and teaching them and kind of like showing them their mistake and then trying guiding them on the right way. But public, like humiliating in front of the class, that I don't know. That's actually a form of psychological abuse. No. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm trying to think of another good. Nope, it is what it is. Now the thing is, always, no matter what, it is what it is. Always love yourself because there's nobody else like you. And to put it simply, the more you're trying to make yourself perfect, the less you become. So the more you are, the more perfect you become. Paradoxical, I know. But, I mean, if it makes you... I mean, heck, I'll even join in on this. Having Lilith in the Ascendant, like I do, no. I mean, the thing is, I'm one of those individuals that thinks this. Intoxicants and being intoxicated and being under the influence, that doesn't show somebody's character. It never does. Because, an example, my mother, I can tell you one thing, whenever I was with her, when I was an infant, and not once did she ever jeopardize my safety. Even when she was under the influence, she never risked my well-being. Not once. Father, on the other hand, that's different. And even then, too, I mean, I've interacted with people who have had addiction challenges. Talk about it being like the most misunderstood group of people. And they're always being looked down on for a challenge that they're struggling with. They're not being seen as a person, which is disgusting. What's even more disgusting, in my opinion, are those that what's even more kind of upsetting, at least in my opinion, too, which is worse. To the point where were the parents, were they under a lot of stress? Were they not really able to communicate what was wrong? Because sometimes, usually intoxicants are taken for one of two reasons. One, just for the party and the woozy feeling. It is what it is. Or number two, something they've encountered, or there's something that they cannot face, will not face, so they try and take something to completely pretty much muffle and blind them from it. Probably sounds like he was overstressed. Did he have a psychological problem? Was he also abused, if you know? Because if that's the case, then probably most likely they were just going and using the intoxicants to kind of prevent, kind of force them to not. Yep, and that's a good point, loyalty. Even religion can be a vice. And religion is not meant to be a weapon or something to use to suppress something else. It's supposed to expand you. And hey, you know what? Even then, to me, there is absolutely nothing wrong with enjoying a vice. But when it starts interfering with other sectors of your life and if it starts damaging them, that's when it can be a bit of a concern. Because at the end of the day, it is what it is. If somebody's choosing to do whatever, it's on them. They made the choice. If they're not harming anybody, and they're being intoxicated, so what? But however, though, there are some things that exist that should not exist. Like, for example, fentanyl. A friend of mine, she almost was killed by it. Yeah. She almost died because someone laced some of her, I believe it was, I don't remember, I think it was Seneca? I think is the kind of weed that makes you more uppy. Yeah, someone laced that with fentanyl, and she almost died because of it. That should not exist. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was terrified. But luckily, she was able to come through. And that's why it's just like, to me, there's nothing wrong with somebody wanting to be intoxicated. If they want to be intoxicated and they're not going to harm anybody, and if they're taking care of their obligations and their responsibilities and what they have to do, so what? They're enjoying it, their life now. They've done their work. They want to relax. Let them have at it. It's their choice. If they're not, being any kind of danger or harm or risking anybody's well-being, why does it matter? Because really, man's law is flawed. Because that, pretty much to make it even more simple, if man's law says if you pretty much are awake after 12 p.m., and I mean, I heard from a bird, exactly. And really, man's law is supposed to actually. Mm-hmm. That's right. And really, man's law is supposed to actually speak in the tone of morality. That's the intended purpose behind it. But then again, mankind is not the brightest thing in existence. But here's the thing. Ever wonder why they're called gateway intoxicants? Do you know why they actually have that word in front of it, gateway? Does anybody know why they're called gateway intoxicants? Mm-hmm. That's the word, gateway. Because they open gateways. In other words, they open your awareness and They do, Ricky. That's right. They make the brain change perspective. Mm-hmm. Exactly. See? You guys know. Now here's the thing. When it comes to something like, I think it's LSD, I think? Or I can't remember what it's called. But it's one that's based off of a fungus shroom thing. Mm-hmm. And that's actually, when you're hearing the voices like that, like they're not in your head, they're out there, that's when you're actually able to hear the other entities. There are some people that actually have to, well, I wouldn't call, I'm trying to figure out how to say this in a way that I won't get a spear thrown at me. Yeah, when you have hearing voices outside of you, those are entities. I have no idea what that is, loyalty, so I'm kind of new here, so. But what I do know, and also another thing that can also cause that is also trauma. Trauma can also open up gateways, too, if that makes sense. Because the trauma can be so intense that your brain actually just makes that pathway for it to come about. Sounds so weird the way I'm putting it. And because I mean, oh, okay. But that's why one of the split second this thing was turning red hot pink. One of the things I like to pretty much warn people, because people are old enough to make their choices. Mm-hmm. Right on the head there. Elios, correct. And here's the thing. You have to be very careful with how much you intake. Well, out. You out. Because really, I haven't even done it before. Well, that's BS. Well, the thing is with that, when you're in that state, whatever you're thinking and how you're going about it is what happens. Mm-hmm. That's why when people don't come back. But reality, when you're going in that state, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling, whatever going on in your mind, that's what comes out. And I'm going to just give you all this one quote. Oops. Don't know why that happened. The best word of advice I can give you guys is this. Whenever you're in the dark, there's nothing to fear in the dark, because all that's in the dark is everything that you says that's in there. So if everything that you want and you say is in the dark, why be afraid of something that just gives you what you say is in it? Why be afraid of something so giving? Doesn't even fight you, just gives you it. That kind of sounds like a very sweet and loving kind of an entity. So why be afraid of something that gives you what you say is in there? And that was actually Nyx who said that. That primordial goddess of Nyx. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's why you also gotta, quote unquote, see without your eyes. You gotta feel. Or be intuitive. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's like you guys already knew this before I even told you. Good. I have no idea why I'm trying to balance these tones in my arm, but oh well. Well, there are some people. Sometimes, well, I mean, you've seen many times on like my live streams that, oh, look at that, we have an entity trying to be like, can I be on the show? No, you can't. Not right. Really? I just love to do this. Whoa. Whoa, I don't know if you guys saw that. That was scary. My phone just caught midair. Hmm. Do I have to really hit you now? Honey bear? Don't. Mm-hmm. Whatever you say. Besides, I didn't tell you you can come in here. Good boy. Sorry about that. Yep, it happens. Sometimes the way they like to make themselves known is by, you know, trying to do property damage. Well, it depends on what kind of ghost spirit it is. Because there's the passed on that are earthbound, that are lost. There's the ones that are stuck in a... There's a type of ghost that is stuck in like an infinite loop because of a traumatic event, like the Civil War. The remainders of those places. That's another one. There's poltergeists, man-made entities that are called constructs, like how the construct Lilith, construct Lucifer, construct Satanus, the fake ones. Then there's also the trickster kind of spirits. The familiar spirits are usually, they can be anything. Because usually Honey bear, I will put duct tape over your mouth, and even though I can't literally do that, I will. But really, this is like how you have to be sometimes. Just like, oh. I'm looking right at it, and I hope you can see it. Like, look where my head is, and then look this way. You should see something like right behind, like right to my right. There's something right there. I hope you can see it, because I'm looking right at it. And I'm trying so hard not to just be like, you know, be over. Yep, But you know, the funny thing is that the minute that you start trying to acknowledge it and actually turn and face it, it'll actually go away. probably. Oh, actually, I think I might know who that is. You know, it kind of reminds me of this one entity. What's her name? What's her name? I think it's the one that is. Oh, what does she do? I think it's the one that makes the whole home pretty by trying to just throw everything together. And she's trying to, her intentions to make everything just so ugly. But she turns out making a masterpiece instead. Oh, what's her name? The Mashtu? I love it when they. Don't look at me. Hey. I know. Usually this is what happens when, you know, an entity gets all hissy-fitty. Aw, he's gone. Oh well. And usually when you're this open, this is kind of like what happens. Sometimes, you know, things come in and they try and mess with you and you're just like, is that an animal spirit? Yep, and I mean, I'm not really intimidated by really anything. So, pale fox, what is the pale fox? I'm curious. Because I've never heard of it, honestly. Let's see, do I have any more of those chocolates left? Because you know what they say about a flamer and his chocolate. He has chocolate, he is less likely to, you know, stab someone. Oh, I think that was my last one. Oh. Oh, who knows? Maybe the monster took it. Hey, don't look at me. I was the one, you know, just breathing on somebody's neck. Don't be getting too hot-headed now, Missy. I don't want you to, you know, break a nail. Oh, I heard that squeak. What? Yes. That's a good choice, Ricky. I'll go. Because I definitely heard something go squeak. Like, oh, did I pinch a nerve? Here, give it to me again. Unless if it wants, you know, me to call it the thing that I love to call it. But it doesn't like being called that. Interesting. You want me to call you a fan girl? You want me to? Oh, fan girl. Oh, I guess she left. Oh well. Don't be tickling me. I do. You know, if you're gonna try and get my attention, you know, maybe try and be a little bit more civilized and, you know, stop whispering. That's kind of rude. Well, but at least the... Them reflexes. They're really active right now. Just sitting minding my own business. And then just a sudden elbow. Oh, it's just when you get so... How do I put this? When you get so in tune with it that you just know by just feeling energy around you that something's off. And then when something tries to get a little bit closer, it just... But that takes a lot of plot of practice. Anyway. I mean, altogether that I've been practicing has been 20... I started in 2010 and now it's 2011. So yeah. I guess you could say a healer, but also not a healer. Like right down the middle. But at least on the good thing too, this is helping my watch time, and I mean... Oh. You know, it's not very nice whispering about people. Just saying. Oh, they stopped. Every time. I see you, milkshake, right there. And I just got you in the crotch, right there. Skedaddle. Just gotta love when they're active. Why do you keep whistling, dude? Quit it. Dude, you better not be catcalling me. Just saying. Whenever I hear people catcalling, They whistle. Yeesh. So horrible. Well, quit it. No, none of that. Well, I'm probably gonna have to get off here because now they're getting a little bit too touchy, and I don't want, something bad to happen, and then people be like, "Oh my god." Yeah, I know. But I mean, again, this is kind of like what happens when you're really aware and you're like a hot. When you're kind of like an antenna point, they flock to you like bugs to a blue light, and they don't stop. Because they're like, "Oh, he'll listen." No, I won't if you won't be nice. It's just I'm just open. Been open for like 11 years now. So yeah, I'm used to it. I'm just so used to it. Not new here, and stop it. Yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna kindly get these people out of here, and then after that, I'm gonna try and sleep, and hopefully they won't try and tickle my toesies tonight. So tomorrow I will be. Let's see, what am I gonna go about tomorrow? I'll put up the next stream, and then I'll probably make like a poll before I go to sleep. And then from there, we'll probably just see what decides to get picked. And then we'll just go from there.